All right, in this video, I'm just going to show you a little bit, a follow-up from the video that you watched on Edpuzzle, and that's just going to be going over how to answer these questions about matrices on Delta Math. So in the video, the guy talked about how matrices are basically just an array of numbers that are used to represent something, and matrices have what we call our dimensions or order to each matrix, and they have a given number of rows and columns. So some people refer to the matrix order as an R by C matrix. It's kind of one way that I learned how to do in college is an R by C matrix, meaning that we have the rows by the number of columns. Rows are horizontal, and columns are vertical. I think the columns are the easiest to recognize because in a building, a column is just a name for like a pillar, a vertical pillar, right? That would sort of hold up a building, especially in like Roman architecture, right? You have this column that holds up a building. So that's easy to remember. A column is vertical. If you remember that, then a row is horizontal, right? So when we write the dimensions of a given matrix, we're always going to write the row first, and then we're going to write the column. So if we take, for example, this one has just one row, right? Because it just has one horizontal. So it's one row. And then columns, it has 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a 1 by 4 matrix. One row and 4 columns. Very basic understanding, but it is important that you get this. So here, obviously, we've got a more complicated one. None of these are difficult. Should not take you long to do this. Yeah. So if we just go ahead and count these, always count your rows first. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. In columns, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a 4 by 5 matrix. Probably the easiest thing that you've done the entire year. All right, one more. This is a 1, 2, 3 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So this is a 3 by 4 matrix. All right, very easy. Okay, the other thing that we're going to do is identify the elements. An element is just a word for basically a number in a matrix. Just a number or individual entry, if you will, in a matrix. We just call them elements. Okay, so the notation that we use for elements looks like this. It's going to be a letter. And you might also notice that if we're identifying a matrix, that is always a capital letter, the name of the matrix. So it might be matrix A or matrix B or matrix C. And then when we're talking about individual elements, those are going to be lowercase letters. So the whole matrix is a capital letter. The individual element, which is an individual number, is always a lowercase letter. Okay. So in this given notation, the C2, 1, so that should be a lowercase c. Lowercase c, 2, 1, it's asking for the element in that position. So what this is saying is we have like a C, and then we have a row, and then column. So in this example, 2, 1 says we want to know what number is in row 2, column 1. All right, so we go and look at the matrix. Row 2, row 1 is here. Row 2 actually doesn't exist in this one. So this is kind of a trick question. If it did exist, row 2, column 1 would be right here. But it does not exist. So this one you're actually going to write undefined because, well, it's nothing there. All right, let's go look at a different example. This one's actually another one that doesn't exist. So this one, don't just assume. It's easy to make the assumption with this one. What they're trying to get you to pick is obviously -4. They're trying to get you to choose -4. Could you see, 1 and 3, so that's probably -4, right? Because it's 3 down in the first row. Bad choice. All right. Because this, remember, 1, 3 is row 1, right? Always row first. Column 3. So row 1 is here, and then we should be over 1, 2, 3 columns, so it should be right here. There obviously is nothing there, so we're going to put undefined again. See if we can actually get one with the answer. Okay, here we go. All right, this one, A2, 4, 2 comma 4, sometimes you'll see. All right, this stands for row 2, right, column 4. So row 1, 2, and then in this row, we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So row 2, column 4 is the number -5. So that is what we're going to type in, the element there. All right, last one. This is D41. So this says row 4 and column 1. So row 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now column 1 just means we're going to be in that first one. So we don't have to worry about going any further. So row 4, column 1 would be the number 7. All right, hopefully this is not too mind-blowingly difficult. This takes you just a few minutes. But if you are struggling, make sure you do reach out to me.